Hello, coming up on this week's travel show. From the heart of Hollywood to the shipwreck capital of the world.
That was quite literally breathtaking.
And from the streets of Cuba.
Beautiful car, beautiful. Can we go for a drive?
To the Canadian wilderness.
Yeah! Keep pushing!
So sit back and enjoy some of our favourite adventures in North America. Hello and welcome to the program. Well, with all this good news about possible vaccines, we're getting so excited that at some point next year we'll be able to return to doing what we do best. But in the meantime, here we are, still grounded in London. So this week we're going to take a look at the vast, diverse continent of North America. And starting with a touch of glamour, the time we sent Mike to drop in on Hollywood.
Building work is well underway for a new museum from the team behind the Oscars, the Academy. They've been busy gathering objects for exhibits to tell the story of the art and also the science of the movies, from old Cinerama cameras to ruby slippers and Shirley Temple shoes.
This is definitely a head from Alien, but I see a strap underneath too.
That's right. So this is a headpiece that would have been worn by, actually, we think the stunt person for the film. The design came from H.R. Giger, the Swiss sort of surrealist artist. What's interesting, actually, is the actors in the film kept asking to see what the alien would look like, and he wouldn't show them. So the reaction that you see on film is their real reaction to seeing him for the first time.
Well, it's terrifying.
It is a little terrifying.
So all these objects are very cool, but what's the value in keeping it to show people?
I think it's really important. I mean, a lot of filmmakers now talk about how they're using the same magic with just different tools. Mm-hmm. So that sense of history is very important to the filmmakers, and it's very important to us, and we want to share that with the public. So basically, this is the 19th century moving picture entertainment industry. So there are about 850 photographs in here which work on a rotary system. You'd put your coin in the slot, and then you hand crank the film, and inside you would see the motion picture move.
First suggested 90 years ago and in development for 7 years, at a projected cost of close to $400 million, the museum has had support from the likes of Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks.
Film is made up of all kinds of other art forms. And so I think to understand it, you have to approach it in many different ways. So we have theaters where films can be seen as in their original format, as they were meant to be seen. We have exhibition spaces on 3 different floors, and project spaces for new work that actually takes cinema into the future. So the whole thing just flows together.
Covering 6 stories and 300,000 square feet, the building's focal point will be a striking rooftop terrace.
Well, the building is still under construction, but the view, definitely ready to go.
Amazing. We're at the top now. We're on the Dolby Terrace, and we're looking out over Hollywood.
So it's opening night. The first guests walk in, they have their experience, and they leave. What do you hope they say to each other?
The first is that I hope they understand and they talk about film history, because I feel like it's disappearing a little from our memory. And now's the time to really save it, to save the legacy of film for future generations. And, you know, maybe one of them that's here will be inspired to become a filmmaker of the future themselves.
Well, that's where we left them a couple of years ago. And now, thanks to the power of the internet, I'm going to speak to Bill Kramer from the Academy Museum to find out how they've been getting on. Bill, hello.
Hey, Krista, how's it going?
Very well, thank you. Now tell me a little bit about how things have changed for you since we visited a couple of years ago.
The building is complete. And we're, I'd say, about 70 to 80% of the way done with the exhibitions. One of the last things we'll be doing soon when we're ready to open is putting the art objects in the exhibitions, but the exhibition spaces are close to being complete.
What do you hope that those people who walk through the door take away with them?
We want everyone to see themselves reflected in the exhibitions. We want people to have a deeper and more compassionate understanding of film history, and how they can and should engage with the artistic medium. We want people to see that this is an art form, an industry for them. And we want to show people how diverse and inclusive the industry is. And we also want to lean into a lot of things we haven't done right. We want to be extremely transparent about past oppressive behavior, why the industry has not treated certain groups fairly. We want people to lean into that, to understand that, and to know that we're building a new future for cinema together. And the only way to do that is to not erase, but to address.
Well, it seems impossible to have any conversation in 2020 and not mention COVID-19. Tell me a little bit about the impact of the pandemic on the Academy Museum.
We were prepared to open in December of this year, but obviously museums in LA have not been open since March, and they're still not open right now. So last spring, we proactively moved our opening date to late April of 2021. And we're putting all of the protocols and procedures in place that we need to open, to allow us to open, if the pandemic is still in the crisis state that it's in right now.
Well, I better let you get back to it. Sounds like you're very busy at the moment, Bill, but thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Great speaking with you.
Well, doesn't that sound brilliant? I, for one, can't wait to get over there and see it for myself. In the meantime, we're heading all the way back to 2015, which was a watershed year in diplomatic relations between Cuba and the United States. The US Embassy in Havana reopened and more Americans were allowed in to visit the island. So we thought it was a great time to send Rajan along.
Classic cars like this were left behind when the rich American playboys left town after the revolution. Now it looks like they're on their way back. Because relations have thawed between the two countries, and vintage cars are a hit amongst tourists who are here already. Julio, you're restoring this 1958 Chevrolet Bel Air car, lovely car.
Okay.
Can I help?
Okay, come on, please. Sit down.
Okay.
In this moment, the checking,
Yep.
the white,
The window.
okay, the window,
wipers,
okay,
yeah.
okay. This moment, checking. Okay, okay, it's
it?
perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
It's incredible actually going inside these old cars. They're beautiful old cars, aren't they? Julio was a taxi driver 5 years ago with his beloved 1955 Chevrolet Bel Air. Now he's taken advantage of government reforms and is a partner in a business that restores and hires out classic vehicles to tourists. This is such a rewarding thing to do. And look, it's all really getting cleaner. I haven't even started painting it.
The tourists will be very, very important for us, for this business particularly.
The business brain behind Nostalgia Cars is Julio's wife, Nidia Alice.
For us, it's very important when he finished this restoration to get money for that work.
So you do get more money?
We live much better. We can travel, we live like capitalists, but we work a lot, but we live better too.
It's only 3 in Cuba.
Only 3 of these in the whole of Cuba?
Yes.
In a country where even a brain surgeon can earn only $30 a month, running a private enterprise like this can be relatively lucrative. It was Ade Alice who was quick to see the appeal of vintage Chevrolets to foreigners.
Beautiful car, beautiful. Can we go for a drive?
Ade Alice wasn't always a fan of these vintage vehicles. Now she has names for all of them, including her favourite, Lola.
At the beginning, I didn't like to drive, but now I love to drive. It's very easy, and it's not very common to see a woman driving this kind of car.
Well, do stick around because still to come on the travel show.
Woohoo! What's that back?
Ice canoeing in Canada. And we have a whale of a time in the seas around New York.
Nice. Yep, it's the shot. That's what you want.
So don't go away. One of the reasons we feel so lucky to work on the travel show is that you get to witness some pretty incredible things, and this next one definitely ticks that box. New York is a special place for many reasons, but when Jo Worley went there in 2017, it wasn't the bright lights of Manhattan she was looking for.
Speeding through the bay gives you a great view of the city's skyline. But I'm interested in what's under the water. Whales. In the past 5 years, there's been a surge in the number seen near the city. It's thought they've come here because the water quality has improved, which means there's more bait. But catching a glimpse of one can be tricky.
7 different species have been spotted in these waters around New York, including the enormous blue whale. They say that today we're most likely to see a humpback whale. Fingers crossed.
This is the exact spot where we left the whale yesterday.
Artie's part of a network of whale trackers.
What's really nuts is that Manhattan has how many millions of people, and like I talk to people all the time, they don't even know that there are humpback whales, like literally 16 miles from the Empire State Building.
Artie has taken some truly amazing photos that show just how close the whales come to the city.
And what's your top tip for taking a photo of a whale?
You just got to be ready. You got to always have that camera up, you know, and just have the settings right, have everything perfect. So you got like this the whole day.
Oh, I really want to see one.
Oh, you're gonna see a whale. It's gonna be great. I'm excited for you.
We're scouring the horizon for a puff of water called a whale blow. It's a rough, windy day, so it's hard to tell whether what I'm seeing is a whale or just the break of a wave. But then...
People are pointing that way?
Yeah.
So come on.
Here's the dorsal.
This wasn't here. Oh, where? There he is? Yeah, okay. Yeah, run over there.
Catching a glimpse of a whale is so exciting.
That's 2! There's 2! Get that down, get that down. I love it.
This really is incredible, but it's so tricky to get a shot of the whale. The tail comes up for just a few seconds, and then a moment later, it'll be about 200 meters away.
Whoa! Yep, this is the shot. That's what you want. And that's the money shot.
Now for something completely different. A uniquely Canadian experience on the semi-frozen rivers of Quebec. Brandy Yanchyk shows us a sport that has you racing over as well as around great chunks of ice.
I've come down to the banks of the river for a lesson.
Ready to try it? We will practice the transition. What is your best leg, the left or the right? I would say my right.
You're right. So you will be on this side with your left leg inside the boat and the scooter ring and your right one. Have a position.
Pushing the canoe over the ice is called scootering, and Amboise makes the transition look simple. I'm going to prove otherwise.
Yeah, pushing up the boat. Stop. Okay. We start from the ice, then in the water. Have a seat right there.
Have a seat?
Yes.
Okay.
Ah! You will feel something like this. Keep rowing.
Okay.
Yeah, you're doing good.
On top of the scootering, Amboise also tells me I'll have to watch out for big chunks of ice slamming into my oars.
Keep rowing. Keep rowing.
Yes.
Then unclip it quickly. Yeah, that's the kind of surprise the St. Lawrence will give you.
Yes.
We're using specialized equipment, and the ice is thick.
Yeah! Keep pushing!
But I can't shake the fear that we're going to smash right through the ice into the river.
Stop!
So how do you feel right now?
I need to sit down.
Okay.
Okay, Amboise, I have to ask you, because as soon as we hit the ice, my adrenaline just shot up and I really got scared.
Yeah.
So, are you sure this is safe?
Yes, absolutely.
Why?
Because more it's bumpy, more the ice is thick, more it's solid.
So what happens now?
Instead of scootering, we start rowing right there.
Wow, okay, let's try this.
Yeah.
It's not that scary now. I don't want to go in that freezing water. That would be terrifying. But now it feels good.
Not too fast.
Rowing between the icy banks of the river is beautiful. As soon as we hit a section of ice, we have to jump out for scootering.
Scootering back! Yeah!
Even with spiked shoes to grip the ice, this isn't easy. Matching the rhythm of the rest of the team feels impossible. But the more we jump between the boat and the ice, the more I relax and actually start to enjoy this icy wonderland.
Trots that back! Scootering back!
To finish up this week, a little slice of paradise. The waters around the stunning island of Bermuda. Today, they're very peaceful, but back in the day, sailors feared this place, and it's sometimes referred to as the world capital of shipwrecks. Back in 2017, we sent Ade along to find out why.
Seeing these relics is incredible, but it's just a glimpse of what lies on the ocean bed. A team of scientists has begun a project that will document the ships in 3D to reveal more about these wrecks than ever before. This 70-metre vessel, the Montana, sunk in 1863. It was used to run supplies to the Confederates during the American Civil War and is one of the first ships to be digitally recreated using this cutting-edge technology.
That was quite literally breathtaking. I can't believe it. It's so close. You just have to snorkel, and there you are on top of this massive wreck. that's been there for over 100 years. It's huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
Immense. And you can see so much detail as well. It's just really hypnotic. You see everything. And
the boilers, those two large sort of giant cans, for want of a better word,
yeah.
And between the two paddle wheels,
yes,
essentially the steam engines what drove those engines. One steam engine for each paddle wheel. Essentially that propelled that ship forward. Those were the fastest ship of their time. These things could do like 14, 15 knots. They were amazing.
By using a technique called photogrammetry, the team has been working with the University of California to record thousands of images and build a 3D digital replica of the vessel. It means they'll be preserved for generations.
The minute it's laid out in that sort of 3D fashion using photogrammetry, suddenly you can see it from the stern all the way to the bow, and you just take in the full extent of the ship, and it literally brings it back to life.
Diving here is a luxury that's out of reach for many people. So the plan is now to map at least 100 of the shipwrecks, meaning that anyone from anywhere in the world will be able to take a digital dive and experience centuries of maritime history.
It tells us that everything changes, you know, but actually what it tells me more than anything is that the kind of, when you go in deep into the history of these shipwrecks and you get into the human stories, people really aren't very different. You know, you should read the love letters that people write, the sailors on these ships. You know, they write back to their wives, their concerns, the things they're worrying about, their desires and hopes. It's really not that different to today. You know, and I think that's actually really challenging and kind of enlightening.
Ade there in beautiful Bermuda and looking a whole lot warmer than I feel right now. But that's all we've got time for on this week's look back at our favourite North American adventures. Here's what's coming up next week.
Do you know what? I've got a sneaking sympathy, affection for the bad guy in the pantomime, because the bad guy, I mean, you know, everyone boos them and hisses them, but actually they're really important.
Hang on a minute. It's not just the bad guys that are important in pantos, you know. It's also the good guys, and I just happen to be one of those as well.
Join us then if you can. In the meantime, you can stay in touch with us on social media in all the usual places. Until next time, from me, Krista Larwood, and the rest of the Travel Show team here in London, stay safe and bye for now.